Welcome back to Ask Allison. Here's today's question. I left group practice to start my solo practice in early 2023. And at the time, I was making a lot of decisions quickly, such as picking a practice name for getting my PLLC, domain name, email address, etc. I'm transitioning my practice again, and in 2025, I'll be private pay and I'm working on my niche, ideal client, and marketing plan. Does the name of my practice matter? I picked my initials because my first name can be misspelled, though I'm wondering if for networking and other therapists, my first and last name would be better. Or is this a non-issue and more about SEO for a Google search? So I'm excited to answer this one. But first, we're going to thank TherapyNotes for sponsoring Ask Allison. They are the #1 rated electronic health record system available today with live telephone support 7 days a week. It's clear why TherapyNotes is rated 4.9 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot and has a 5-star rating on Google. TherapyNotes makes billing, scheduling, note-taking, and telehealth incredibly easy, and they also offer e-prescribe. If you're coming from another EHR, TherapyNotes makes the transition incredibly easy, importing your demographic data free of charge so you can get going right away. Find out what more than 100,000 mental health professionals already know. Use promo code ABUNDANT at therapynotes.com and you can get 2 free months. All right, so first of all, really great question, and kudos for thinking ahead as you transition to private pay. It's a really exciting time, and I love that you're being really thoughtful about the details. So, does the name of your practice matter? Here is the short answer. Not a whole lot. As long as the people who might refer to you can remember it, it's more about functionality and memorability than it is having like the perfect name. So let's break it down. You mentioned your first name has an uncommon spelling, which I totally get. It's a valid hesitation, especially when it comes to things like domain names and emails. But as somebody who refers people often, let me share this. I find it a lot easier to remember somebody's name than a practice name. Your name is uniquely you, whereas a practice name, unless it's really clever or distinct, can sometimes just blend into the sea of therapist-y names that are out there. Um, we all know those ones, right? Like, I'm not going to call them out. No one needs to feel bad about their choice, but they often involve, like the same exact words in different orders. They're not inherently bad, far from it, but they're like common enough that they might not stick in someone's mind, or I might accidentally refer to one person when I meant to refer to the other because the names are similar enough. So if you already have one of those names, no worries. Just make sure your website is optimized so that if somebody Googles a phrase close to your practice name or your name, plus your state, it pops up as a result. Now, about using initials, I'd say they're about as memorable as a generic practice name. They're functional, but they don't create much connection. If you're already using your initials, it might be worth considering transitioning to your full name for networking purposes, especially since referrals from other therapists, they're probably going to be pretty key for your private pay practice. If spelling is an issue, you can secure multiple domain names with variations on your first name and have them all like point to the same exact website. So for instance, my name is spelled with 2 L's and an I, but I could do Allison with 1 L and an I. I could do Allison with 2 L's and a Y and buy these domain names and have all of them pointing to the same site. Um, if you do decide to go with a new name, you don't have to like start your business entity over completely. You can file a DBA, which is doing business as, which allows you to operate under a different name without creating that whole other business entity. It's a pretty straightforward process and it can make the transition seamless. You also asked if this is more of an SEO thing for Google searches. It can be, depending on how clients are finding you. If your practice is heavily reliant on organic search, people Googling for therapists in your area, then yes, your practice name should or could play a role in SEO. But as you build a community and a network of referrers, having your name as a part of your branding often makes it easier for people to connect the dots. So when someone says, you should check out your name, they're amazing for this niche. It feels a lot more personal and memorable than a practice name, right? So to wrap up, I think transitioning to your first name and last name could be a smart move, especially for networking and building a strong personal brand. It's all about making it as easy as possible for people to remember and refer to you. And the fact that you're thinking about this now while working on your niche, your ideal client, your marketing plan, it shows that you're setting yourself up for success in 2025 and beyond. Before we go, I want to remind you that we have free worksheets. Today's will be the Build the Right Practice questions to consider. This is going to help you think through your practice building. This can be good for people in the early stages, particularly, or people like you who are transitioning. So y'all can DM me the word sheets, as in worksheets, and I will send you a link to download that and all the other free worksheets also. I hope that this helps. If you have a question for Ask Allison, hit the link in the bio or shoot me a DM. I would love to help you, and I'll see you next time.